You know where it is.
What's going on? What's going on, people? Hope you are well. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for being here. It's gonna be a fairly quick show. There is a lot to get through, but we promise it will be a quick one so that everyone can enjoy the football. I know the football is on, but yeah, we made a quick switch from last week because there was a very special event that happened yesterday, and we had to hold that in high esteem. If you would like to tell the people what that special event was.
Yeah, it was Mrs. Glover's birthday yesterday, so had to adjourn the episode for today, which Base was very courteous and understanding of. So thank you for bearing with us.
Of course, of course. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off right now. We're going to get through all of it as quick as we can. So, we probably won't be in the chat and everything, but appreciate you. We have a major announcement to make at the end of the show, but we're going to do it at the end of the show. So, make sure that you stick around till the end to hear about that. But yeah, look, Danny, I feel like there's no better place to start right now than the big news that we've just got between Tyson Fury, Arslanbek Makhmudov, which we all kind of knew about, but what we didn't know is this is going to be another Netflix thing. We got to talk about this. What do you think that is all about ultimately for, for Turkey and that whole I guess that whole sort of operation. But more importantly, what does that say about the zone?
Wow. Well, it kind of it was for me. I thought there was two front runners. It was Argon Smakishi as he was putting up videos, saying I cut you and I've done this to you and that to you. So I thought maybe Fury might go for him. And then there was obviously talks of Arslanbek Makhmudov. With it being announced on Netflix, I'm like, wow, um, okay. And then lo and behold, I seen just a clip of an interview. I haven't managed to watch it in full, but Frank Warren was asked today about is he involved in this or did he know about this? And he said no, he has no involvement in this Netflix show. That this is being done by the Ring guys, the Ring team. Didn't want to name Turkey Al Sheikh, so I don't know if there's any kind of rift or something like that going on in the background, but it does make me wonder because he does seem a bit agitated. As we know, he's the guy who resurfaced Fury, from when he came back years ago from his big weight gain, etc., and got him the Wilder fights, etc. But we do know also that while Fury has been screaming, "I'm only coming back for X amount of pounds and X amount of dollars." And I don't think Queensbury have that in the budget. And we know who does have it in the budget. I don't think DAZN has it in the budget. Also, there's been talks of that even Eddie Hearns had his budgets cut by DAZN because he's not producing. I don't whether that's true or not. I do not know. But this is just letting us further know that boxing is changing in a big way. We're getting boxing on Netflix in a major way. You yourself and October gave the Netflix as the broadcaster of the year for last year for 2025. We've got Paramount now in the game, so the zone's got competition. Where we thought that boxing was all sewn up and on the zone, that's what I thought. That was what was helping sell the packages. It seems like now we've got new cowboys in town. Not like cowboy, like I'm not talking about no scams. I'm just meaning like, yeah, the
Yeah.
zone was the sheriff, and we've got new cowboys in town, um, looking to try and take over. So, what was this? Did I answer both questions?
Yeah, pretty much. You know what's weird though? I thought that Tyson Fury was with Queensbury slash Top Rank. I thought he still had a deal with them. I didn't. I wouldn't have figured him to be a free agent. Now I don't know if that changes when you retire. Like, do you get out of all contractual obligations? Because I would have thought if you come back, your contract is still valid unless it's got like an expiry date on it.
Hmm.
Um, and I would have thought he would have, as you said, kept Frank in the loop because Frank was good to him. Frank kind of got him he gave him all of the platform to sort of run with the rebuild and the weight loss and all that stuff. So it's that's a bit of a mad one for me personally. Now, that being said, as you said, and now luckily, I know you and Beats are probably a bit more agitated about this. I didn't buy the Ultimates package. I decided to say, you know what? Let me decide what I consider to be a pay per view and what I'm gonna purchase. I did initially. I thought about it, but then I'm like, and all of a sudden now, it's like every single fighter that's the top of the top of the tops on the zone seems to be fighting off platform. So the big question, I guess, now comes when before we even segue out of this is, well, what is the ultimates? Are you basically saying that just the good fights you're claiming are now what you would have had as a pay-per-view, or that that's kind of what the pay-per-view is for you guys, but then anything that we consider to be like a big pay-per-view fight, we're just going to outsource over to the Netflix team? That's kind of how it feels. And I can't lie, if I was you, I'd be feeling a little bit cheated and be asking, well, hold on, what am I getting for this extra money that man's paying for?
Yeah,
um
because so far I've not got Anthony Joshua and I've not got Fury,
you ain't
and
even
I've
got
not
Katie Taylor
and I have not got Canelo.
or Amanda Serrano. Actually, no, you did get one Amanda Serrano, but yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, well, one Amanda Serrano. Um, but come on, the ultimate package. When you're using words like ultimate, I'm expecting to get ultimate fighters, and I ain't talking about UFC, but I'm expected to get the ultimate boxing fighters in my package. That's what I was. Uh, that's what sold me. It looked all golden and like a golden ticket, and I thought the glitters were golden. I'm getting pure bronze.
Nasty work, man. Nasty work indeed. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's something we got to kind of keep an eye on. But yeah, it just seems a bit. The whole thing seems mad. But if we go back to the fight, let's look at the fight at the minute for just what that is. I
Yes.
mean, how do you feel the fight is for Fury as a comeback? Do you think the event on Netflix is going to be like stacked, with a bunch of big talent underneath, or is it going to be a bit similar to the Canelo Crawford, where there was some good names, but ultimately it wasn't what it could have been?
I think it could be. I think it will be better than the Canelo Crawford, as we know that. I think that budget would have been more expensive. Arslanbek Makmadov, I don't think it's going to cost that much. We know the bulk of the money is going to go to Fury, um, and as a fight, I think is a good fight. Makmadov is on good form. He took out uh, our Jamaican brother Ricardo Brown, and then beat Dave Allen last time out, and looked very good in doing that as well. So he's on a roll. Big guy, mean looking, so that sells for Netflix. He could put it as the scary looking big Russian monster, and you've got Fury, who's a very eccentric personality and has his own show on Netflix with his family. So he's already known to the masses via the Netflix crowd, and he's built a good brand for himself out in America. So he is multi-continental in notoriety. So I think it's a good idea. This one.
Cool, cool. Yeah, like I said, the Netflix thing is what kind of shocked me. But you know what that also means? We're gonna be saying happy days, because I'm pretty sure we'll be doing the watch alongs, and it's gonna be. I'm assuming it's gonna be on the times that is favorable to us lot, as opposed to the states. But you never know. But even
Mm.
then, it's also gonna be free as long as
Yeah,
you've got a Netflix subscription already.
that's the only thing why I can't cry too much is that I'm already subscribed to Netflix, so it is coming in my package. There ain't no, second tier pay-per-view involved.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay, well, with that kind of then out of the way, that leads me to. I got a little segue thing that I want to do right now. Earlier on today, I was in the gym, and I was just randomly, I was listening to, I think it might have been the Ariel Hawani podcast, the one he did with Eddie Hearn, and I just had a random thought to start writing down some like heavyweight fights that I want to see for between this year and next year. Now, most of them I don't think will ever be made, but I wrote a bunch down. Before I give my list, though, I'll let you say if there's any fights that any in the heavyweight division that you would like to see. They don't even have to be like the top main guys. It can be whoever you want to see. Just like give us a couple, and then I'll go through this list that I wrote.
I'd like to see Ajit Caballero versus Lawrence Okoli. I would like to see um, Fabio Wardley versus Usyk. I would like to see what other heavyweight fights would I like to see?
Apologies for putting you on the spot. But
Yeah, I know. Oof. Well, we all would like to see AJ and Fury, but what AJ's doing at the moment, we could leave him be.
fair.
But that is something that was on my wish list from last year, to be fair.
Okay.
And I'd like to see Tony Yoka and Joe Joyce run it back.
Okay. Cool. So it's funny. What I did, I made fights that I don't think people would have picked because I don't like when like you're in the narrative and people say, oh, like, it would be a brilliant fight, and then all of a sudden everyone keeps saying the same fight that they want to see, and usually it's if it's not like the big guys, like the sort of like a Fury versus AJ or something like that. Yeah, everyone wants to see that, we get it, but I try to challenge some people to be a bit more creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are some of the matches that I've come up with, and some of them you might laugh because you'll get why I want them to face certain certain people, right? But I think so. First one, Fabio Wardley against Daniel Dubois.
Okay.
Second, I've got Ajit Caballero against Filip Hrgovic. There's no Usyk in this list, by the way. Like I'm
All right.
sidelining him at the moment. I've got Lawrence Okoli against Efe Ajagba.
Mm-hmm.
I said on a previous episode, Richard Riakporhe and Jordan Thompson.
Okay.
Jean Gillet against Martin Bacoli. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Richard Torres Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Got one for the prospects, Joshua Edwards versus Emmanuel Odiase.
Okay.
Terra Moana versus Bakadir Jalalov in the pros, not the amateurs this time.
Okay.
Moses Atuma versus Guido Vianello.
Oh, that's a big jump, man. That's a big jump. That's a risky one,
I
man.
mean, I'm saying, like, we can't just be putting man in with all the top dogs. You gotta earn your stripes. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
David Delier against Jared Anderson.
okay.
Tony Yoka versus Solomon Dacus.
Okay. Boxer versus boxer, yeah.
Yeah. I've got Lenny Apero against Justice Hooney.
Oh, that'd be a good fight.
Mm.
That'd actually be a very good fight.
Yeah, you like that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
I've got Danny Apero against what's his name? Actually, I'll come back to that. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head.
That one could get made though.
It could. I mean, they're both Matchroom. So,
Yeah, that can get made.
but I've also got Cesar Navarro against either Johnny Fisher or Dave Allen, either of the two. Now, if you remember the fight, Daniel Perro against Cesar Navarro, remember that fight that I kept telling everyone to watch?
Yeah,
Yeah. So so little Mexican brother
yeah.
against either Johnny Fisher or Dave Allen, either or.
Okay.
Or we can have Dave Allen against Daniel Perro and Cesar Navarro against Johnny Fisher. But either way, those are some of the fights that I'd like to see. Different fights are like not always the same names being recycled all over the place, but
Yeah.
kind of what I had in mind. What do you reckon?
Now that some of them have, would be very good on a card, I'd be very excited to see some of those fights on a card. To be fair, they're
Nice,
kind of
nice.
it's kind of like a bit of a, well, we'll probably touch on it in a bit, I imagine. Well, later on about the what's it Zuffa card coming up this weekend,
Mm.
which was surprising. I only saw it yesterday, and then I was like, "Wow, these are some good fights."
Oh, is it? You only because I knew about it from last week, after the first one. But yeah, there's some really good fights. Not any real high level names that people know, but I'm looking forward to Butayev and
Boychuk.
yeah, Boachuk. That's
Well,
that's
I'm looking forward to Hot Rod versus Gvozdik.
Oh yeah, there's that one as well. Those are the two. But I just know that because Boachuk is just he don't know how to do anything but come forward, and Butayev is very similar. And Boachuk
Yeah,
should actually have the advantage because obviously Butayev used to go campaign at welterweight, whereas Boachuk's always been 154. But they don't acknowledge 154 in Zuffa, so it's going to be a middleweight bout, so they can go as
mm,
close to 160 as they want. And obviously it's Ukraine versus Russia as well, so you got that little spice in there for that one. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. And with the other one is Ukraine versus I don't
I'm
even
not
know.
sure where Radovai comes from. Um, well,
It's
I
like,
know he's born in America, but yeah, I don't
no,
know.
but it's Eastern European. It's one of them Czechoslovakian type, Serbian looking type of
Let
flags.
me check. I can check.
It's not Croatia. It's either
Hot
Slovakia
Rod
or Serbia. One of them kind of ends.
Radovai.
It's like a red, white, but it's got like a little emblem on the flag.
Okay, so Kalajic comes from. Let me see. Uh, it
One of them.
doesn't. Where is that?
It's one of
Oh,
them Slavic
is it?
countries.
No, it doesn't say on here.
It's one of
Let
them
me type.
Slavic. It's one from one of them Slavic countries.
Oh, no, I'm gonna go to the box rec instead. If it
Uh,
shows up. Um, Vai Kalajic. He's
Serbia. Yeah,
yeah, Serbian.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I
Oh,
saw it.
no, Yugoslavia.
Yeah, but it says he's born in Belgrade, Serbia, which probably was Yugoslavia back in the day. You know, they changed the name.
Zenica SF Yugoslavia. Let's check.
Okay,
No, yeah, it's Federation of Yugoslavia. That's where it's from. But
okay,
then from there it went to Bosnia.
yeah.
Um, okay, cool. But yeah, no, that would be a very good fight. All right, so we'll come back to. Oh, did you think of any other heavyweight fights or?
Um, yeah, I'd like to see. Obviously, it's not really adventurous, but yeah, Richard Riakporhe versus Lawrence Okoli. I've always wanted to see from cruiserweight.
Okay.
Um, Solomon Dakers versus Johnny Fisher. Um, do, 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 do. No, I don't think I can top some of them ones you put together. You know,
All
and
right, fair enough.
I wouldn't have even thought of that one. But that Lenny Aparo, um,
And Justice Uni.
Justice Hooney fight is
Hmm.
yeah, it's got me smiling. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
No, you
Um,
definitely need a percentage if that gets made though.
yeah, fair dues, fair dues. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, you know that I think they do take my ideas. Right. So Usyk and Ruiz. This seems to be gaining traction now. Myself and Beats had a very heated debate earlier on his channel regarding this. Shout out to Beats if you're watching.
Yeah, to beats. I don't know how long he was on the live for. I was listening to it on the earpiece while I was at work for quite some time, but obviously I had to go at some point. And
Yeah.
I know you jumped on kind of towards near.
At 5, it was at 5 o'clock. I do 5:15 that I jumped on there, and
Yeah,
the thing is, I was about to take the dog out, and he was reacting to things that I'd said previous. I was like, all right, because this is getting lost in translation. So let me come on and we'll actually talk about it. But yeah, Beats, like once he's kind of got something in his mind, he doesn't really deviate from it unless you've got a stone cold fact in front of you. Like, there's no conjecture, there's no seeing the reason. He's locked in. But it's always good to chat. But yeah, so with that being said, he was obviously speaking about Usyk and Ruiz. Basically, he was saying, look, it shouldn't be happening. But we're now, I guess, going to look at it from a standpoint of, is that fight made? Or is it actually active? Is it something that is looking to be done? Who's it being done by? Have you heard anything on the grapevine about that fight potentially taking place?
yeah. Well, Derek Chisora is the one who leaked it on Talksport when he was talking with Simon Jordan and Co. Um, he's the one who started that whole rumor, and it's gained traction ever since. He obviously seems to be in the know because they was asking him if he beats um, Wilder, is he going to fight Usyk next? Because that'll be the ticket, right? Because Wilder's already been fixed to fight Usyk next, and he said his wife will kick him out if he has another fight. But Usyk's fighting Andy Ruiz next, so he just thought to spill the beans. So how true that is, it probably is a big possibility because we haven't really heard of an opponent being talked about with Usyk. We already know he's turned down Fabio Wardley, so I don't know who else. We know he's saying he's going to fight Wilder later on this year, so he's going to want to fight someone earlier in the year as a tune-up. If Wilder gets a tune-up, Usyk doesn't need a tune-up, shall we say, but just a keep busy fight, just to keep the wheels oiled. And Andy Ruiz is a credible opponent, and it also fits into the whole I want to clear up every champion of my era. I don't know how he can do that to a degree, beating Andy Ruiz and Wilder. I don't think it would be very viable to call out Charles Martin because he'd be the last one remaining. But
Or he may not even consider Charles Martin because the way he won the belt was very dubious, and then
yeah, no,
he kept it for he only had it for what 2.5 months, 3 months,
yeah.
something like that. So, all right, but even with regards to that, yeah. So, do you think that if Wilder did face Chisora, do you think that Usyk would wait around for him, knowing that he's got the other obligations? Because the whole point of him looking at Wilder was initially to do it at the start of the year, like I guess up until maybe April, May, and then possibly assess what the landscape looks like at the end, whether he's got to go drop another belt, whether maybe Fabio Wardley is now a viable option to try and petition for another undisputed fight, or if he then would have to fight a mandatory and then go, like because nothing's been called, we don't really know sort of where we're at. But do you think that he would wait all that time? Because he hasn't. The last time he fought was July last year. So if Wilder and Chisora are fighting in April, Wilder ain't going to be fighting again till November, December. Do you really think he's going to wait like 16 months out of the ring and hold up 3 belts as well?
No, not for Wilder. He's not. So I think he will fight Andy Ruiz. Who it's under, I don't know if it's going to be Zufar or it's going to be this IV boxing thing in San Francisco, because that is California where Andy is from. Even though he's more close to he's like San Diego, but yeah, it could. I think it sounds. It's all leading. I'm thinking it's going to be one of them one-off IVB things, just to, they must be paying him a ton, and it gives good tourism, I imagine, and it helps build up the area of California, as we know that the next Olympics is in Los Angeles, California. So yeah, it's kind of leaning that way. I believe he will fight Andy Ruiz next.
All right, but here's the thing: if he fights Ruiz next, that's his voluntary. He
Yes.
can't fight Ruiz and then fight Wilder. Even if they're in the same year, he's not going to get two voluntaries back to back when he's got three belts to, to sort of get the sanctioning bodies. I don't think at least one of them is going to jump the gun. So, do you see a scenario where if he has those two fights to penetrate America and have those big fights out there like he wants, that he's going to end up having to give up another belt or two?
No, because I feel that if Wilder does get past Chisora, even though most people think he won't, if he does, I believe that a sanctioning body will, slap him as a mandatory, and he'll get the dib because of his previous history. He'll get that favourable consideration and get slapped in as a mandatory, and then Usyk will get away with it that way.
Oh, we're talking politics now. I like it. I mean, look, I won't lie to you. I think Usyk, I'm well, okay. I think Usyk is deserving of one. I don't like the one being Andy Ruiz, considering he hasn't done anything in about 2.5 years, three, almost coming up to three. Um, and obviously not ranked anywhere. So in that sense, I would feel like that one shouldn't, your belts shouldn't be anywhere attached to that. So that should be, if you want to do that, you should have to give up the sanctioning body belts. That being said, because he's lineal, he's almost above the belts at this point. Like no one can't have a belt and not see and still not be considered secondary to him.
Paper.
Yeah, he's still going to be the consensus champion, and he'll have the Ring Magazine belt as well, which is obviously the one that you kind of, if you got that, you are the number one in the division, regardless. So if he were to have those two fights, do you think that maybe he could say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to get rid of all of these. You lot scramble for them, fight amongst each other. All the champions fight each other, and I'll fight whoever comes out on top at the end when, just before I leave. Like, do you think that might be something he would consider? Or do you feel like he just might do this whole drop a belt, pick it back up, drop a belt, pick it back up situation until he goes, or until he gets beat and then retires?
No, I think it's more of a thing. He might end up dropping a belt one by one and keep the one he feels is the most prestigious. Because if he drops all of them, by the time everyone fights for vacant belts, he's going to be it's going to take too long for him to go around collecting them all again. He'll be too old by then. So it might be a thing of where he just gets these, his pension fund, last sort of segment of his career, gets the money, keeps a belt, whichever one he likes the most, or treats him the best, probably gives him the best deal on sanctioning fees, and keep that one in the ring, because as long as you got the ring and a normal belt, everyone knows who the man is, really. So everyone knows, until you fight Usyk, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And regarding even who currently is there a mandatory for the WBC, by the way?
Not technically, but because Caballero's the interim, they got to consolidate the belts. They're trying to pass that law to say you can only have one champion per division, no interims, unless the champion is injured. So they can't even put interim titles on people because they want to undisputed. No, you just got to wait. That's what they're trying to pass as part of the Muhammad Ali Act.
Okay, because if all right, so however that goes, because that's the angle I can see when I was thinking about how they'll do it with Wilder. Mauricio Suleiman, Wilder's, been their long-standing champion for many years in the past. He beats Chisora. I believe he'll get slapped in as a mandatory for Usyk, and he'll get in that WBC angle.
But you see, if Mauricio does that, the backlash and the pressure on his neck is going to be different, because you can't, like, because he did the same thing similar with Dillian White. Maybe Dillian wasn't a big enough person at the time for it to really register the way it should have. But now that Caballero's shown that he's a big draw in Germany, that's a whole new market. The euro's still stronger than the dollar, same as the pound is. And if you're then saying this guy's your interim champion, he's been taking on contender after contender, defending that belt, and then you're going to go and install another man as the mandatory over him. that can't. I don't think the people are going to accept that. I think he will face a big revolt.
But remember, Dillian White was doing big gates at the O2 Arena, selling that out a couple of times against big, good opponents, good attraction, and they still done him dirty. So it's kind of the same. They could do the same thing, but doing it twice. And the what do you call it? The casual fan is a lot more educated now than they was back then. So I can see it being a lot of backlash. But does Mauricio even care about backlash at this stage? Because he's already in the mud with his reputation. Fighters are cussing him. He don't care no more. He's I don't want to get into family issues, but I'm saying he's not doing his old man a good service because you know his dad was an upstanding guy when it came to that sanctioning body. That's what got that belt, a good reputation in the first place. Jose Sulaiman.
I hear it. All right, fair enough. Well, look, I guess we just got to kind of wait and see how that plays out. Like, just for clarity, my official take is I feel like Usyk has deserved the right to have one fight of his choosing after the run that he's been on. But I also do respect that there's certain people waiting in queues, and if you're only gonna just be having one fight of the year, you need to maybe make it right with some of the other people. If you're gonna have two fights, they can't both be two voluntaries or a dodgy mandatory either. I feel like that won't really wash with people. Like I said, you already see that Beats ain't standing for it all now, and he was a supporter of Usyk. So I get it. You don't want the backlash to turn nasty because everyone, as soon as you get to that point, that's where the backlash does seem to come. That's where Tyson Fury finally started coming a cropper. And I wouldn't like to see the same thing labeled on someone like Alexander Usyk, who has, for the most part, done everything the right way, thus far. Maybe not everything, but near enough. So I hear that. Okay, so with that now, switching over quickly because we was obviously talking about Turkey ring, Usyk, and where that might be IV. We've got a confirmation from Eddie Hearn that Bam Rodriguez is officially re-signed with Matchroom as they had matching rights for the Zuffa boxing offer. And Garcia, Mr. Robert Garcia himself, was stating, actually, no, nothing's kind of finalized yet. We've got other offers we can field. And he basically said that Eddie had a 30-day terms to basically make an offer, or they could be free agents. So he said he didn't hear anything from Eddie until 2 weeks after that. Now, this is where we don't obviously know the contract. We don't know if that first and last was in perpetuity. Did it have a finite date on it? Was someone like Zuffa maybe waiting for those, or being told, oh yeah, we got 30-day terms, so they was just waiting to see what those 30 days are going to be like, slap something down a couple days after, thinking that would get them what they want, and then finding out that actually maybe that's not the case. How do you kind of see that one? Do you see it maybe being as messy as it kind of sounds, or is it just a case of maybe Robert Garcia either got the wrong end of the stick or was just trying to keep other people sweet, maybe for some of his other fighters who he's trying to funnel all through to Zuffa?
It sounds like Robert wants to head over to Zuffa with some of his fighters. Who is Bam's manager?
I think he's managed by Mr. Hondoff in Japan, like Taken Promotions. I think that's who he's with.
Okay, because I'd like to hear from him because he'd probably would probably know more in depth about it. But it seems it's a tough one because I did see that Robert Garcia, and then Eddie Hearn said no, that's not the case. But if we got to hear from Bam also, because if Bam's talking like, well, you expired, then we know if your interest lies elsewhere or your eyes are wandering, then it's best to probably just let him go because he's not really. You don't want an unhappy fighter in your books, and I doubt you're making that much profit off of him. So just let him go, really. If that's the case, but if it's just Robert talking, you don't know what other interests he might have because we know some trainers they cut certain deals behind fighters' back, tell him that it's 500 grand when really there was seven on the table. Them ones there. So I need to hear from more people first, i.e., Bam and Mr. Honda in Japan, before I make up my full mind.
Let me double check. Actually, I can. It should tell me on BoxRec who the manager is. Jesse Rodriguez. But
Bloodbeat says that Roberts is manager. I don't know about that.
um, let me see. So why is this not telling me what I want to know? Um, but here's the thing. Hold on. Let me.
But yeah, what's your thoughts on it though?
Yeah, like here's the thing with me. Because you say, oh, like maybe if he's an unhappy guy or whatever, kind of let him go. But I wouldn't see what he would have to be unhappy about. Let's like
No, that's what I mean. I'm not
no,
necessarily
no, no. I know,
unhappy.
but I'm just saying, like, I'm saying if that was the scenario, when the only thing I would think of him personally being unhappy would be if, say, for instance, he had this contract that he has to stay with Eddie, but being in that contract lost him money elsewhere, kind of thing. So something
Hmm.
like that, I could see maybe being unhappy. But in terms of like fights, fight dates, being able to go up the divisions, unify. The first person who actually gave him an opportunity on the card, even though he was just in as an opponent to start off with, but he got an opportunity on the card, took it, and then I wouldn't say that I would feel as if Eddie hasn't done right by him since then. Anytime that he put him in against the Kings, uh, except everyone except for Chocolatito, he got he did all of that, and then um he managed to go to 112. He unified with Sonny Edwards, probably one of the biggest names in the lower weights because of the chat and being able to sort of talk and back it up. Goes to 115 and is given two title fights in a year. I know one of them was with the help of Turkey, but Eddie secured the other one as well as keeping him active. Um, the only thing I could think that you might be upset about is having to possibly stick around because I think it's Jason Maloney, don't want to give up his mandatory spot against Willibaldo Garcia. But yeah, I don't know. I think ultimately he's in the right place. There are some people that I think would be better off outside of Matchroom if I'm real, but I don't think he's one of them. And I definitely believe that in terms of like having a machine behind you and someone that actually does believe and will talk you up to the hills and make everyone aware of you. I definitely think that is Matchroom.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I think Eddie did say something about he spoke with Robert the other day, and Robert basically said that he's happy now. He wants us to arrange a date for his next bout. So I am hoping that Eddie can just put some money on Maloney's books, make him step aside, say, look, you guaranteed the shot at the winner, or you guaranteed a title shot afterwards. We will guarantee that to you. Let them do the undisputed. Whoever wins, if it's Bam, he wants to go up to 118 anyway. Like he'll move up. You get a vacant title shot, and you've made a nice little payday. Possibly get on the card as well. Stay active, make some additional money as well, potentially. Um, and if it's Willa Baldo, then obviously Jesse will still move up and do what he wants to do at 118 and eventually possibly 122 as well. So yeah, if I know Eddie's not really in the business of quote unquote losing money on fights, and I don't know if getting Bam that fight would be a loss by itself, but maybe having to pay, step aside money on top of that might, push it into that limit. But I think that Bam is one of, especially if you've got this big contract now for whatever it is, I think this is one of those times where you accept to have a little loss on the books, like for the,
Mm.
for the right person, because that will sort of come back tenfold in a couple of years time when he starts moving to those to the other weight classes where now it starts to get a bit more interest in the casual market, especially in America.
Yeah, but I don't think Eddie is, because the way he talks up Bam, I think he is profitable. Being Mexican, we know Mexicans support their guys, especially lower weight classes, because they respect that the lower weight classes because they don't tend to be big dudes like that in general. So I think maybe it might just be a thing of Robert Garcia just said about the 30-day, just to, get a couple of extra coins out of Eddie, just to put the pressure on and drive a little hard bargain for his man. But I think that ultimately, I think the best thing. My advice would be to stay with Matchroom because the formula's working. I don't see any issues there. You've just been on a great platform on your last show where you scored a knockout of the year contender. The way Eddie talks about you, Dana ain't going to talk about you, unfortunately. Let's just be real. So it's just, I think it's just get a couple of extra zeros for Robbie, and you'll be good.
Yeah, no, Blood Beats was correct. He Garcia is his Tunde Ajayi.
Oh well, then yeah. Well, it's an invested interest. He's just trying to
Yeah,
get a bit of paper.
there
Just
you go.
trying to get a bit of paper for himself. That's cool. I understand.
Fair dues. Can't hate on that. Can't hate on that at all. All right, so with that out the way, look, we were kind of talking a little bit about Zuffa and their show coming up on this weekend. So let's kind of wrap all of that up in the weekend's action, right? So let's start with. There's actually a card. There's a Pro Box card on Friday. I need to check that one out because those Pro Box cards actually are quite kind of tasty.
They are actually.
They go off quite well, but let's stick to the main ones. Obviously, we don't have Adam Azim and Gustavo Limos anymore, but we do have Fran Hennessy and Ellie Butel, and obviously what's his name, Gradus Kraus as well. They're going to be co-headlining
But
the
it's Boris
BBC card.
Crichton.
Yeah, Boris Crichton as well. Yep. Craig Richards, right? Victim, but
Yeah, Craig Richards, Callum Simpson, and Lyndon Arthur.
yeah.
But Craig was the only one who knocked him out.
Very true. So let's see what happens with Boris with that one. I'm not going to really ask you about that card. Look, his Box are doing what they can at the moment. They lost their main event. Commiserations to them. Let's move specifically now. Kelly or Murtazalia versus Kelly. What's your opinions on the fight? Who do you think wins, or what have you? Is there anything you've seen? Like, just give us your vibe on that one.
From the fight got made, I thought, oh, this is a tough ask for Josh Kelly. Um, Background Mutazaliev, he's been out the ring for 13 months, but I don't think that's going to affect him too much because Josh Kelly himself only had in the past 13 a one round job where he just touched a guy and the guy just fell on the floor like an idiot. Um, and I think that was the day before Fabio Wardley Justice Hooley actually. From what I remember, because I was in Ipswich at the time when that fight was on, and yeah, looking at the head-to-head face thing today, Bakram Mutazaliev, he looked like a very intimidating figure, and Josh Kelly, he was trying to smile, but I see the fear in his eyes, man. I see a little trickle down his leg, and he's trying to wave on the crowd to get some energy. He thinks he's Hulk Hogan, but he ain't gonna, when one of them tops come in his head, it's like, his hand ain't gonna go. It ain't gonna be able to raise, I don't think, because and the thing is, Josh Kelly, he hasn't got a good poker face because I remember not last time out, sorry, when he fought David Avanesian in the weigh-in, he was like, and the new, looking at Eddie for approval and some kind of what do you call it? He's basically
Encouragement, support.
validation. He's
Oh,
looking
validation,
for,
belief.
yeah, some kind of validation belief, and then he just looked like plain faced, and then I see his face just look drop, and then he got mashed up by a Russian, and then we just and this time now we've got Murtazalia as another madman, and I just feel that with Adam Booth fighters, they can start off quite flashy, but they've all got engine problems. I've always said this. Whether you go through the history of David Hay, George Groves, um, Josh Kelly, David Adelaide, they've all got engine issues. So none of them, even Harlem Eubank, probably that's why he left Adam probably soon after he joined, not too long after, because they don't have engines, those fighters, unfortunately. I don't know training methods, if they heavy on any kind of cardio and stuff like that. But I know they do the pads and it looks quite explosive. But I just feel that Josh Kelly's gonna get stopped ultimately in the middle rounds.
Okay. Obviously, I can't give my takes on it, but
Mm-hmm.
I am not mad at at your breakdown and your thought process. Disclaimer to everyone, or not a disclaimer, sorry, an announcement I should say regarding basis picks this week. Normally, it's pre-recorded. You kind of can watch it at your convenience, but because there is so much boxing on this weekend from Friday onwards, all the way through to Sunday, we're doing basis picks as a live stream on Friday. All right, so I'm probably about between seven and 8, somewhere around there. That's when we're going to be doing it. So if you want the picks and the predictions, just you can lock into that. It probably will be an hour long. I won't have any other way to do it because otherwise I'd have to do like 3 separate videos, and it's gonna be long. So yeah, stick around for that watch along for that. Is there any fights on the undercard that you believe will be competitive that you want to see? So not just fights you want to see, fights that you actually think will be competitive. So that basically means you can't talk about a Leaf.
I can't talk about my niece. 1 second. Let me look at this card. Uh, no. The only one that could be remotely, and I don't know if it will be because I've never seen the guy fight, is Josh Padley versus Jode Belmedi, who's 23, 2-3 for the European, but I don't know the guy. Other than that, no. Leo Atang, he's going to blast his guy out. The rest of them, yeah, they're not now.
Okay,
What about
cool.
you?
No, to be honest, it's the same. Like outside of wanting to see a Leaf do something nasty to our opponent, there's not really much else on there. And everyone knows I won't be, unless that fight comes on, say 11 o'clock or 10:30, quarter to 11. I probably won't be seeing it live anyway, or I'll be watching it at the corner of my eye because I'll be doing a watch along for the Royal Rumble instead. So yeah. But yeah, I do wish Josh Padley well, and I will have a little gander at that one. Leo, I'd want to see him do well, but yeah, other than that, it's all about the main event for me. And then that sort of leads us nicely into what is a very, very deep night of boxing. Now the thing is, a lot of people forget there's 2 cards on that night, both with serious consequences. You've got Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson, but you also got Xander Zayas against Abbas Baru, unifying the 154 titles.
That's
Like,
Saturday. Right.
yeah, people forget about that one, but that's a sleeper fight right there.
Oh, I knew it was coming up, but I didn't know it was this week. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
in
Oh,
Puerto
no.
Rico, like that, and it ended up just kind of going under the radar because the ring fight swallowed up all the publicity, and obviously because Top Rank ain't got no broadcasting at the minute, it's one of the ones. Yeah, it's just kind of under the radar, but that's got a good fight card there as well. So
Yeah.
which card do you want to talk about first?
We might as well talk about the Puerto Rican one first.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so let's talk about Abbas Baru and Xander Zayas. What's your thoughts on that one?
It's a good fight. Abbas Baru has been on a very good roll, as we know. He's been coming to England, the UK, and doing a good number up, like on Channel 5, beating the likes of Sam Eggington and co. And and Xander Zayas, he's been like a prospect of the year for quite a few years. He's been the one to watch. He's been one we've been saying is definitely one for the future. I do, but in the Abbas Baru, he's got that style. It's kind of Crawford esque, in my opinion.
I know
Yeah,
he looks like. I remember I always used to say he
it
looked.
does look like him a bit as well. I can't even pick.
It's a hard fight to pick
Yeah.
because neither guy is actually. If you look at like who they've fought, they've both maybe got one fight you would say, okay, that's a good, like, for instance, Xander Zayas has got Patrick Teixeira as probably the best fighter, obviously being a former champion, and then Abbas Baru's probably got, like, you know, the Sam Eggington, the Ioannis Taylors.
Hell is, yeah.
You know how he lost the split decision to Jack Colkay, but even then, people was like that was a bit of a farce one. Like they believed he didn't lose. So, but maybe you might say, just in terms of the actual the top level experience, you might say that Xander's had a slightly better win with Patrick Teixeira. So you would feel that maybe he's got a bit more of the top level experience, but he's 23, hasn't even really got the proper man strength yet. Whereas Abbas, 31, hardback, African turned German. Like, you don't, them man there, like, they've been through something. So there's a certain level of skill and drive that you don't get
Yeah,
in
yeah.
other places.
So, oh mate, how am I gonna do? I don't even know how to put this. I don't even know. I don't even.
Are you just gonna enjoy?
I'm just gonna enjoy this fight. I can't pick like that. It's just like, yeah, I can't pick that one.
All right, fair enough. The only other fight on there, that might be well, there's a couple big fighters. Like, for instance, Yuri Sendeno. I know who that is. He's a upcoming prospect. He's in a pretty decent fight against Atundi Williams. But Giovanni Santillan is taking on
Yep.
Courtney Pennington,
But
who,
I expect him to take him.
yeah, that's literally just his comeback, like one of his keep busy tick over fights, just to probably fulfill the contract. And then obviously Rowan Polanco is on there as well. So again, that's another just sort of padding water. I guess that's probably just Top Rank realizing they ain't really got a huge budget, so got to get the man them out, but within reason. And then when we can find something better for them, is probably what we'll do.
Yeah.
All right, so it's fine. We can leave that one there for the time being. Let's move over to to New York. Man like Tiafimo and man like Shakur Stevenson. Tiafimo says he's from Brooklyn, but everyone from New York and New Jersey be disputing his credibility, saying, "No, you from Miami. You're not from around here. You didn't come through the amateurs with us on these circuits." Like, so. First off, what are we saying about that? Is he? I mean, is he really allowed to claim New York like that? If you didn't grow up there, if you didn't live there.
Oh, well, because his birthplace is Brooklyn, New York. That's where it's saying he's born. But I don't. When did he move? I need to know when he moved, because you can't just because if you left at, like, 3 years old, what I mean, you can't really be claiming the Brook, because you wasn't on the streets. You wasn't out riding a pedal bike with training wheels with the youth them on the blocks. So that is up. That needs clarifying. When did you leave? But
That's what they say. I mean, look, they say that he left there when he was like young, and then they moved to Miami.
but
So,
how young?
well, he would have been before he was boxing, and I think he started boxing in um when did he start boxing? When he was about what, 7 or 8?
Oh
So it
no,
would
yeah, no, no,
yeah,
yeah,
probably would have been
yeah. You left
before
too
that.
early. Then. You left too early. You left too early.
But all right, what's your thoughts on the fight, and then we'll go through some of the undercard quickly.
No, the fight's a very good fight. We know Shakur Stevenson, very good pure boxer. Got very good skills. Tiafimo got explosiveness, but very unpredictable and inconsistent with his performances. Um, Surprisingly, probably for quite a few people, I'm actually picking Tiafimo Lopez to cause the upset and beat Shakur Stevenson. Reason being is that I know that Shakur doesn't like getting hit, especially hit hard. He might might try to go negative. But the thing with Tiafimo, he's good at cutting the ring off. He's good at, he's very fast and explosive with his movements, and he's very agile and athletic. So I think he'll be able to catch up with a man trying to go away from him. And also with Tiafimo, yes, we know he's had some mad performances against Ortiz and Sandor Martin. But when it comes to the big fights, especially the ones where he is predicted to lose or get dominated on, he always shows up and, turns a fight on its head and totally smashes up the bookies, i.e. Lomachenko, i.e. Josh Taylor. So I think with these big fights, he will show up and show out. And I think, and also, I think he's got a little point to prove because he's had a gripe, he's had a little chip on his shoulder, a bee in his bonnet about the black fighters with Top Rank. And then also with him being Central American and Shakur Stevenson claiming Puerto Rican, he's definitely one gonna um, put Cute Boy in his place. He's talking about doing some homoerotic things to Shakur, and Shakur didn't bite back. So homeless, and that's not good. You got to show a man no, don't you can't talk to a man like that because But Shakur maybe a bit. Is he mild mannered? Is he kind of? But then he has his moments. But I just believe Tiafimo is going to pull the upset and win.
I hear that. The only thing I would say to maybe just push back on that, because obviously I can't really give my takes right now. I've got something in my head that I think will happen, but here's the one thing that we do know is Tio is at best when he's on the back foot, like counter punching. That's his bread and butter. The explosiveness. That's what he likes. There's never really a fight, especially not in the early stages, where Shakur is a person that's like basically going to be pressuring coming forward, even against the guys that he knows he's better than. It's all about that engagement. And we do know one thing we know for sure. Tiafimo looks a lot worse coming forward than he does going backwards. That's when he's always been dropped coming forward. He always seems to get caught in the exchanges coming forward. He never seems to be able to get off the line and hit the counters the best way when he has to sort of be the one to force the fight. And I just wonder if that's gonna be something that he's addressed and been able to fix up into this fight, because he's got everything else. He's got all the other advantages. He's got the slight size advantage, even though like height wise maybe not, but just width and body.
Yeah,
He's
physical.
got the punch advantage, even though he hasn't stopped anyone in like 3 years, 3.5 years. But he's got that. He is the more explosive, so he's the quicker and the more athletic out of the two of them. So he's got all of those advantages. But if does he have the ability to be able to put them all together against such a technician like Shakur, who knows how to stay composed under fire and is quite happy sort of sitting back and making you have to engage? Because let's be honest, if the crowd start booing, it's New York, they're going to, but Shakur ain't going to care. That's going to be something that might bug Tio more than it bugs him. And can he keep those emotions in check? So if all of that plays out in the way that we need it to, then yeah, I mean, I can definitely see your prediction being valid. But I'm gonna wait until I watch the press conference and see what the energy is like there. Obviously, I'll
Mhm.
have to give my takes before the weigh-ins happen, but yeah, because that's normally what I like to give them. But those American ones, they be starting all 9, 10 o'clock these days. I ain't got time for that. So
Mm.
yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, good fight, and I can't wait to watch it with everyone who's on the watch along.
Yeah.
Now, Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something I don't normally do, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna half predict this one. I haven't fully locked in my pick yet, but I think we're getting an upset. I think Jermaine Ortiz, I think he's got this one. There's a lot about Keyshawn recently that I ain't really been liking.
Hmm.
Not just from a personal standpoint, even like some stuff in the ring as well. There's a few minor things that I've been seeing. So I think someone like Jermaine, who's very much that technician as well, very much a person that doesn't mind having a bit of a stinker, makes you sort of come to them. I just have a feeling that we could see an upset, and the upset could be that he finally gets one of these victories that he probably deserves, because there's definitely been at least one of the fights that he's had where he didn't get the victory, but he probably should have. But what's your thoughts?
You see the fight, the Andy Cruz fight. Where was that?
That was in Las Vegas.
Okay. Hmm. All right. I can see something. Yeah, I can see something bad happen to Keisha because he was at the fight, right?
Yeah.
So really so close to your fight, you shouldn't really be out and about going to shows, especially ones where you got to fly about what 5 hours, and then you're coming.
Yeah, and in different time zone, so it's
Yeah,
a 3 hours ahead.
yeah, unnecessarily. Like you should be, you should be in the current city you're about to fight in. So, I imagine Jermaine is in New York already and been so because he's what Puerto Rican, right? We know
Yeah, I think so.
he's Puerto Rican or Dominican, either one. He's got a good, they've got a good population out in New York, so he's going to be fine around there. Keyshawn Davis doesn't look like he's on the ball, as and I love your video you did last night. So please, people, please check out Base the Kids video from last night called Pum Pum Energy.
Well,
Uh,
it's actually called Read the Room, but you'll see the caption is Pum Pum Energy.
yeah, that's the thing that's gonna make people click. That's the thing that I highlighted. I was like, "Right, I need to see this." So when I was at work, I was like, "No, I have to watch this one." But yeah, the guy just moves. He just moving like you're so busy and focused on Andy Cruz, and you weren't even looking to fight him at any point. Yeah, at his fight, just
He also turned down the Raymond Muay fight as well, saying that he didn't want to. Like, why do I want to pay sanctioning fees for the belt, kind of thing?
weird. That's what fighters dream. That's what boxers dream of as a kid. But you're just you're not doing. You're not living. You don't seem like your head's in the right space. You're talking about you found God, but you're not moving like a man in the cloth because you seem like you're still living with one of the seven deadly sins, and that's envy. He's moving very red eye. You're rejoicing on your daddy's loss because he's beat you 4 times or five, and you're there rejoicing that a next man beat him, but that just makes you look worse because you're meant to want him to do so great. So it looks like, well, look, hey man, it's like when Tony Bellew, he's like, hey man, it looked like I was doing well, but he's just too good. So every time he's beating all these heavyweights, it's like, well, what did you expect me to do? I'm just a cruiserweight. So it
Mhm.
makes Tony Bellew look even better that he did so well. So that's really should be trying to champion Cruz rather than trying to pop down his style. You see me? But yeah, I can see Jermaine Ortiz, who is a very talented fighter in his own right as well, pulling off the upset well as well. I'd really want him to beat Keyshawn as well. I want him to. It'd be in. I'd like it if he put him on his face. To be fair, that'd be a nice one because I just think it's very unsavory what he did to poor Albright. Just for getting a victory. It's not even like he started doing mad celebrations in the ring or at the back. He just
Yeah.
weird. So yeah.
And again, I will say the same thing that I said when I was making the video about that as well. Shout out and respect to Kelvin Davis, the oldest brother, probably the one that everyone says is the least talented of the three, but he was the only one that actually showed class in that moment and actually tried to stop the fight and stop his brothers doing what they done. And he apologized for everyone kind of on social media in his own sort of big brother way. So I respect that. All
Mm.
right. Now Carlos Adames and Austin Amo Williams. What's your take? What's your thoughts?
Um, I know it's a bit generic, but I think I'll just use a triangle theory really. That Hamza Shiraz stopped Austin Ammo Williams. Carlos Adames really beat Hamza Shiraz, whether you know. So I just expect Carlos Adames to be too cute and too just a bit more talented with his movement and ability, and I believe he'll beat Ammo Williams on points though. I don't think he'll stop him. Yeah, that's my prediction on that one. But it will
Okay.
be a good fight because Ammo Williams, he does come to fight, and he is a good boxer as well. And he can punch a bit,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I think he will struggle to land on the target because Adames is very evasive when he wants to be.
True. All right. I mean, the one thing I will say is Adames is technically, even though sometimes he doesn't look it, he's actually the smaller of the two. Remember, he came up all the way from welterweight, so he's filled into the weight nicely, but he is naturally smaller than Amo. So that's another interesting tweak to the proceedings. All right, last one on. Actually, I forgot there's two. Okay, last ones quickly. Bruce Carrington, Carlos Castro for the vacant WBC World Featherweight title.
Bruce Carrington. I'm gonna pick on points for that one.
Yeah. And then lastly, Jarrell Big Baby Miller against Kingsley eBay.
Uh, I think Big Baby should be able to grind him down and stop him.
Okay.
I think Big Baby will get the job done.
That sounds cool. I mean, he's had two losses. Second fight, and I think his eighth, and obviously the eighth was a knockout to Jared Anderson when he gave him that nice little slip shot inside the pocket, bang.
Yeah, the uppercut.
It used to be a staple of the Ring IQ videos back in the day, so I used to see it every day. But yeah, no, I think I'm quite happy to say I think Jerome Miller he'll take that as routine food. Make a cheeseburger out of him, as he likes to say, and some
Yeah.
fries.
Oh no, but the one I liked is when he said to Lenny Apera, he goes, "Yeah, man, we get that fight cracking, and I'll turn you in a Cuban sandwich."
Yeah, all the bars gotta be about food. It's hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, he reminds me of me. Oh man.
You used to do that as well. To be fair. All right, so look, let's move over real quick to the Zuffa number 2 taking place Sunday. Let's not go through the entire card, but let's go through the two fights that you want to see. So the first one was Hot Rod Kalajic and Alexander Vosdik. What's your thoughts on that one?
This is a very good fight. You got two uh, boxers who can punch, so boxer punchers. Hot Rod is the older man. I'm not sure by how much. I think Hot Rod. No, I think no. Vozic is the older
No,
man.
Vozdik's older. I think
Yeah,
Hot Rod's about 30,
34. I think.
35.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so Vozic's the older man. Um, and both are, it's funny. One fought David Morrell, which many thought that he really won, and then Gvozdik fought David Benavides, which you thought he won, but
Mm,
even though I thought he won, but it is what it is.
mm.
I'm gonna go with this is another one of them toss up fights, especially as there was no real build. I only knew about it yesterday. I'm gonna go with Gvozdik on points in this one.
Okay. Can I just say just before
And
let's
both of them fought Beterbiev as well, actually.
they did, but one thing about Hot Rod, he ain't been in the ring for over 15 months. So that's one thing I would say to also consider. And for Vosdik, it's only been, I think, 9. He's the older guy, but I would think that that's enough more than enough time for him to be in tip top shape. So
Yeah, and also remember he's been preserved where he didn't fight for a bit.
yeah, for them 4 years.
Yeah, and he fought he knocked out Anthony Holloway. Probably as you said about 8 months ago, 9 months ago, something like that. 8 months ago.
April last year, yeah, so
Yeah,
about 9.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I got Gvozdik points in that one.
All right. And then Sergey Boachuk and Radzab Butaev.
That's another car crash of a fight. Because Boachuk, he's a bit. Oh, Butaev. When's the last time Butaev fought? Actually, because was it when he
So
lost?
Butaev last fought in November.
Okay. Oh, all right. Oh, and he's fought twice since the Stanionis. Okay, that's cool. And then Boachuk he fought the Brandon
Brandon
Adams.
Adams, a
Yeah,
rematch, and
yeah, the
got
rematch.
comprehensively beat up.
Yeah. Oh, because Boachuk's been in a few wars now. Um. Oh,
It's a good fight, isn't
it is a good fight.
it?
It is a very good fight. Oh, mate, he's on the spots. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Radzab.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Radzab. Uh, I'll go with Radzab on points.
All right. And
But
then
I believe he will. I believe he will drop. I think he might drop Burchuk at one point,
okay.
but it will go to points.
All right. Fair dues. Jalil Hackett's. Oh, yeah, I forgot he's on this card as well. I thought, I guess, his Matchroom deal is finished, or maybe Eddie's just allowing him to take. Or, I'm not sure. It's a shame. But yeah, he's had two wins since the upset loss that he had. So, and I think both of those was on Pro Box cards. Um, but yeah, he's facing Roberto Cruz. I don't know much about, but he's 11-1, just like Jalil Hackett, which is good. So
Yeah.
even Stevens, Puerto Rico against Washington D.C. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in that fight as well. But main event: Jose Valenzuela against Diego Torres Nunes. What
Uh,
are your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with yeah, I'm gonna go with Jose, man. I like Jose.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I mean Torres has got the more experience, I'd
Yes,
say. But
yeah, he does. But I like Jose Venezuela's style more. I just feel, yeah, I think he'll get it on a close points decision.
okay, where's actually Jose, his last fight he was fighting at one. I wonder if this fight's at one forty
Gary
five or
Russell,
140.
Gary Russell, he fought last time
Yeah,
round.
but I'm saying he's been cause he went up for the Cruz fight, um, and he I guess the Russell fight as well because he had the belt. Oh yeah,
This
but
is
he
a
wasn't.
this is a lightweight fight. This is 135.
Yeah, no, he was a lightweight. He went up to fight Cruz because they gave him the Cruz fight, and he beat Cruz. He wasn't supposed to, so he stayed up there, and they gave him Russell. He lost. They said he's going back down to his correct weight. So yeah, okay, cool. Um, yeah, all right. I guess that's it for the predictions. For anyone who wants to hear my predictions on all the fights this weekend, like I said, there will be a live basis picks on Friday. Time to be confirmed, but it will be somewhere between 7 and 9 in terms of a start time. Um, I actually need to find out what time SmackDown is on Friday because that's taking place from Riyadh as well. If that's on at 7, then I might try and go a little bit earlier. Or I'll have to wait and see sort of how I can do both of them. But yes,
Yeah,
thank
depending
you.
as well, I might do because I'm doing it's a new club opening near to where I live, so I'm doing that. But I finish at 2, so hopefully I can run back home and do a live for the New York card.
Do you know what we do then? How about I just set it up, and then I'll be doing it anyway. You jump in,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
do the and we set the stream.
yeah. Because I won't. I'll have to be watching Josh Kelly one on my phone because
Yeah,
obviously I've got the zone on the phone.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Fair dues. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I said that we had a major announcement to make at the end of this. So we're at the end of the show now. Thank you, everyone who has tuned in. Um, as you guys can see, there is no October Red with us tonight. Um, due to some personal issues and looking to sort of focus on some of her own things that she finds sort of near and dear to her, she won't be returning to the show. And as a result of that, myself and Danny over the weekend had a brief conversation, and we didn't feel as if it was right to continue Fight Talk Live. It's her brainchild. It was her idea to bring us together with herself and Maestro. There was four of us. It went down to three. We wanted to carry it on, but with two of us, we didn't really feel like it was appropriate to keep on, especially when the person who thought of it initially was no longer able to do it for their own reasons. So this will be the very last show on Fight Talk Live and of this platform. But myself and Danny, we will be collaborating, quite regularly on different things, and we're considering what we will be doing moving forward. Whether we might sort of do a new concept, maybe bring other people in, maybe have a monthly thing, another different weekly thing. We haven't sort of figured it out yet, but there will be, a bit of a break from this. But yeah, watch alongs and things like that. We will still be doing. And if any big topics or stuff come up, then I can always call him. He can always call me, and we'll be like, "Yo, let's jump on a live. Let's talk about it." So yeah, wanted to let you guys know we wanted to sort of have a last episode and have it be as good as we could with all the circumstances, I guess, that are sort of taking place. But yeah, thank you very much for all of the the continued support, everyone that's turned up every week and has actually showed love, been supportive. People like Skyline, the people like Star Fox, people like Gorgaruga, Philip Answer, Toby Bartlett as well, and just everyone else. I can't even remember every single name off the top of my head. I know Blood Beats. I think James Douglas as well. I know Alexander Wilson was one. Jam Down 187 definitely was a guy. Golden Mike, Alex Bellotti was always in the chat as well. Yeah, and anyone that has whose name I haven't mentioned, that's not because you're not important to the platform. Danny, do you wanna say your words to the people?
Um, well, just lastly, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Julian Rodriguez for his performance over the weekend on Zuffa. He was my fighter of the weekend. Him and Merriweather, I forgot the kid's first name, but both of them I thought stood out for me. But other than that, thank you everyone who's been rocking with us. And also, if when any sort of big news comes out and you think that you want to hear from us, just DM base or message base or like myself. And as you said, as base said, he'll hit me up and go, hey, people want to hear from us, or likewise vice versa. I'll hit him up and say, hey, we need to jump on. Even if it's just like a 20-minute thing, we can just do a little something. So yeah, all those encouragements does help us keep more active, but we will be back sooner than you think. And there you have it. Until next time, it's Danny Glover, it's Base the Kid, it's Fight Talk Live. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is.